Hello, I'm Diana Brahms. I'm chairman of HGS Art and I'm a keen amateur painter. I work mainly in acrylics or watercolour, charcoal, pencil. I don't use oil these days, although I could. I find acrylic very convenient. And recently I've been very much inspired by some photographs by a French photographer called Cartier-Bresson, and he went to Mexico in the 1930s and took some photographs of some rather unfortunate prostitutes who had to ply for trade by leaning through a hole in a front door. And so I've done two portraits from one of these photographs of this lady, and it was fun to put her in colour, and there were two more. And these are the other two ladies. Here she is with rather extraordinary eyebrows, and this lady who looks kind of more businesslike. There she is. My preference is always to paint from life rather than from photographs, and these two pictures were done from life, and I think I got a good likeness, but unfortunately I haven't got a photograph to compare it with. And here's another, also done from life, and I have a stack of others too. And these were some Mother's Day flowers, which I rather enjoyed painting, and I'm afraid I converted them into orange-red tulips as well as beautiful pink ones. And that's our garden, which I've enjoyed painting, and I also do interiors, so pretty much anything.
I've recently retired, and as a result I've been looking for places where I can join with other people who are interested in painting or drawing and things like that. And this rather baroque painting reflects the shapes of the cello, which is my particular instrument. It's part of my landscape work. I've recently been up in the Lake District, and there are a couple of oil sketches I did here. This is in fact also an oil sketch on an Indian paper, and it reflects the river where I keep a boat up in Suffolk. That one is a very ancient picture I did of chamber music, which includes of course my son and perhaps my daughter-in-law as well, both playing there in a large country house, as I recall. Some recent sketches I did at the Royal College of Music. This top one is I think 8 or 9 cellists playing in a group, and this one is my son. I remember that. And then the bottom one is, I think, on the same occasion. Recently I did a short course in Westdean in Sussex, and I started to fall in love with modelling the head, quite enjoying that, and I've just got a commission to do another head for a friend, and I'm looking forward to doing that.
Welcome to my studio, which I use for all forms of art, but predominantly glass. I work on a light box, and the process of stained glass, first of all, designs and ideas, charcoal drawing, etchings and collage, and then gradually working up to the idea of interpreting them into glass. And here is the more precise, the working drawing from which I cut the glass, rather like a dress pattern or jigsaw puzzle. Here it is simplified into shapes from which I cut the glass. Here I've cut the pieces of glass from the pattern and mounted them on a piece of double glazing, and you can see the simple shapes of the different colours of glass. I will put this outline drawing on, and then join with strips of lead, which is malleable. It'll go round all these complicated shapes. This is the firing. For 10 minutes it is at 650 degrees. When it's finished firing, if I put it straight outside, the contrast in temperature might make the glass crack. So here it cools down gradually. A series of synagogue windows that I made for the Agudas Yisrael synagogue in Stamford Hill, quite unusual for the ultra-Orthodox to commission stained glass. But it has been written up in the 100 best stained glass sites in London. This panel I made while I was still a student at Central St Martin's. It started as a maquette for a series of synagogue windows. This is a maquette for a window depicting Yom HaShoah and illustrated by the now battered tombstones in Eastern Europe.
I spent my whole career as a civil engineer, and to some extent I've never worked with metal. I've designed metal, I designed buildings, I designed bridges, designed many things, and I found that my training in engineering helped me with sculpture because I could visualize things much better in 3D. I decided to take some courses, and one of the courses I decided to take, which I'd never done before in my life, was sculpture. And I went to Morley College, which is a fantastic college near the Imperial War Museum. My things that I enjoyed most was learning almost as an apprentice how to weld steel, bend steel, make steel into shapes, make things like this, which is steel and copper, this, which is wood and steel, clay, a model of my head of my grandson, and all sorts of things. This piece, for instance, one of my later ones, was based on the Garden of Eden, showing the above and below ground cultivation, tree of life, and so on. Again, something I found quite rewarding. It's the Great Wave, or based on the Great Wave by Hokusai.
I've been painting since day one of my life. I love art. It's my hobby, it's my passion, it's everything the way I could see myself. I like to work in the mixed media at the moment. Usually, as other old schools, I was starting with watercolors, with oil painting, oil paints, then become acrylics, and now I am, as I said, very interested in the textile. The best passion is the colors. I could probably say that I'm a colorist. Actually, nature is quite bright things that you can see in every day, and sometimes you think there is no such thing as a pink sky, and there is. And this one was done just to celebrate the galaxy, the colors, the space, And I thought it was a little nice touch to it, to bring people to it, not just the stars. So I thought just to put a lovely bride and a broom together, and to show that they've got all the time in the world to themselves. I absolutely adore bluebells in England. The way I see them and the way they just spread like a carpet on the forests. And this one was painted, inspired by big woods in the suburb, and it was beautiful light going through the trees and a bit of misty, and just to put more effect on it, I was using, that was done as well on acrylics, I was using a paste to make a texture that the first of painting with flowers like coming out. This painting been done in oil. That's my memory of New York. Again, I decided to use here a bit of texture, just put big, and I was painted that with a knife palette. And just big brush, big knife palettes movements, and I just scraping like skyscrapers got in New York, that movement and the texture at the same time. I really enjoyed the time in New York, it was very good. This painting I started recently, it's in oil, and it's just to celebrate Easter. I come from Russia, and in Russian tradition we color in eggs for Easter. And as all well known, Fabergé eggs is most of amazing piece of art been made in 3D shape. So I thought, why wouldn't I just copy one of the images and put a bit of myself in there in decorations, and then to celebrate Easter the way we celebrate.